Good morning. Welcome to Unity North Spiritual Center in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. I'm Reverend Kathleen, and I'm glad you're with us this morning, both virtually and in person. So we are part of a greater worldwide unity movement. We're the publishers of the Daily Word magazine, and we've been holding 133 years of prayer vigil through Silent Unity, the prayer ministry of the Unity movement. So prayer is the heart and soul of unity. And we do have a prayer chaplain with us today. Nancy Helbig is our prayer chaplain. She's waving. And she's going, her number will be on the chat, and also you'll see it during announcements. So you can call her right after service, and she'll be happy to pray with you. All right. So it's nice to be back. Thank you to Reverend Barbara for speaking last week, and so I could have a Sunday off, and always good to be back again, renewed and refreshed. So let's see, our producer today is Chris Italiano. It's been a while since I've seen you, Chris, because you were out and then I was out. Nice to have you back. And our worship assistant is Wendy, and our musician is Bruce Meunier-Bell. So let's give him a hand. All right. And let's take a moment and speak our vision and mission statements. Our vision is our ideal future reality, so let's speak that together. Centered in prayer, we create for all a world of harmony and abundance. And our mission statement is celebrating spirit, exploring truths, awakening hearts, inspiring dreams, serving community. And you can see our values, which are our core beliefs here at Unity North. And so with that, Bruce will lead us in an opening song.
Let's all stand and sing, please. I behold the Christ in you. Together. I behold the Christ in you. Hear the life of God I see. I can see your great peace too. I can see you whole and free. I behold the Christ in you. I can see this as you walk. I see this in all you do. I can see this as you talk. I behold God's love expressed. I can see you filled with power. I can see you ever blessed. See Christ in you hour by hour. I behold the Christ in you. Hear the life of God I see. I can see a great peace too. I can see you whole and free. Thank you.
Bruce, thank you for that song. Good morning, everyone. I'm Wendy Erickson, and I'm your worship assistant today. This is the time in our service when we greet one another. So I'd like for you to take a moment and wave to each other. I'm waving to you here, waving there. If you're new, I'll say it again. If you're new to joining Unity North today, we would ask you raise your hand and wave and let us know. Oh, Beau is here, first time. Nancy's dog. Okay. Welcome, Beau. We're so glad to have you here. So we welcome everyone, and we're so grateful. Who's here from another state or in another country? Candy. There's Candy. And we got Nancy. Yeah. There's Gary, he's not waving. So, okay. Again, thank you so much. It is great to have you with us today. At this time, we will take a moment for our prayer requests. Rather than say them out loud for everyone to hear, we invite you to speak a name or request silently, or if you're by yourself, in the privacy of your own home out loud. Please say your request. We give thanks in advance for these prayers, and we say thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. Let us stay centered now and still for our daily word. Today's daily word for Sunday, August 14th, 2022, is holy. I discover holiness everywhere and in everyone. There are certain places I visit where the presence of God feels especially near, places that feel holy. These may include churches and other houses of worship, shrines, favorite places in nature, any destination where I become vividly aware of the divine presence is holy ground. I remember these words from the Prayer for Protection by Unity poet James Dillett Freeman. Wherever I am, God is. The divine presence, I know, lives within me. It is the true essence of my life and of every life. Today, my understanding expands. I discover the divine presence all around me and find holiness everywhere. Every person is a holy being. Every place is holy ground. And from Genesis 28, verse 16, then Jacob woke from his sleep and said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. Today's daily word for August 14th is holy. I discover holiness everywhere and in everyone. And now Bruce will prepare us for meditation.
The song is Love One Another as I Have Loved You. Comes from the Gospel of John, chapter 15, verse 12. And you might be familiar with it. Hope you'll sing along. Love one another, love one another, as I have loved you, and care for each other, care for each other, as I have cared for you, and bear one another other's burdens, share each other's joy, and love one another, love one another, and bring each other home. Bear one another's burden, share each other's joy, and love one another, love one another, and bring each other home.
So let's just take a few minutes and begin to relax. Let's take several deep breaths, saying to yourself, I am completely and totally relaxed. As you just feel that wave of relaxation moving all the way down your body. And allow me to speak the words for you, taking them in as your own. I release and let go of any stress, any concerns I brought with me this day. I release any upset thoughts, any fears or worry. And I refuse to get caught up in any negative news of the day. I am centered in peace and compassion. It is my nature to be kind. Divine love is inherent within me, part of my spiritual identity. Opportunities abound to be kind. And I hold that intention today and going forward. Ideas fill my mind, perhaps as a nudge to call a neighbor or family member, to send a note, to extend a smile or give a compliment. Practicing kindness includes sharing my gifts and talents in ways that allow me to express my individuality by giving of myself. And so I take a moment in the silence and ask, what act or acts of kindness can I do this day, this week? I welcome ideas about ways to show kindness. I continue to call upon my higher self to guide and direct me in the ways of kindness and compassion. The more I practice kindness, the more easily it becomes the song of my heart and my way of life. I affirm I am love in action, sharing acts of kindness. And so it is. Amen.
From Ashford and Simpson. Married couple writing team, songwriting, recording through the 70s through the 2000s. It's my favorite song of theirs. It's called Reach Out and Touch Somebody's Hand. Feel free to sing along on the chorus. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Yes, you can. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Yes, we can. Just try. Take a little time out of your busy day and give encouragement to someone who's lost the way. Just try. Or would I be talking to a stone if I asked you to share a problem that's not your own? We can change things. Why don't we giving? Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Yes, we can. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Yes, we can. Just try. If you see an old friend on the street and she's down, remember her shoes could fit your feet. Just try a little kindness and you'll see it's something that comes very naturally. We can change things if we start giving. Why don't we reach out and touch somebody's hand? Make this world a better place. Yes, we can. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Yes, we can. Just try to reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Yes, we can. Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place. Why don't we reach out and touch somebody's life? Reach out and touch. Thank you.
Bruce, great song. Well, Marilyn Kinsella from Canmore, Canada, writes of an experience she had at the airport. She said, I forgot about the rule of not putting liquid in carry-on bags. And when I got to security, they confiscated all of my painting supplies. So a week later, she said, when I returned and I got to baggage, there was an attendant who had my supplies. He had kept them for me, and not only that, but he had checked my return time and showed up to give them to me. A wonderful act of kindness. Kindness is more than behavior. The art of kindness means harboring a spirit of helpfulness, as well as being generous and considerate, and doing so without expecting anything in return. Kindness is a quality of being. The act of giving kindness often is simple, free, positive, and healthy. It has been shown to increase self-esteem, empathy, and compassion, and improve our mood. It's also great for the body. It can decrease blood pressure and cortisol, a stress hormone, which directly impacts stress levels. So if you've been feeling kind of stressed lately, do something kind for someone. People who give themselves in a balanced way also tend to be healthier and live longer. Possibly because kindness can increase our sense of connectivity with others, which can directly impact loneliness and enhance relationships in general. It can also be contagious. Looking for ways to show kindness can give us a focused activity, especially if we tend to be anxious or stressed in some social situations. Joanne Sanderson of Brandon, Florida gives an example of this contagion. 2 firefighters were waiting in line at a fast food place, and there was a moment where their siren went off in their fire truck outside. So they turned to leave, and a couple who had just received their order turned and gave them their food. And then they got back in line to reorder, but the manager doubled down on their selfless act and refused to charge them any money. So, yes, I know, those kinds of stories just warm our hearts. Physiologically, kindness can can positively change our brain. Being kind boosts serotonin and dopamine, which are neurotransmitters in the brain, that give one feelings of satisfaction and well-being, and cause the pleasure reward centers in our brain to light up. Endorphins, which are our body's natural painkiller, also can be released. Manu Singhal from Kansas said, during the worst of COVID, there were orphans who were not celebrating their birthdays. They were not receiving any gifts from well-wishers. So he said, my wife, Neela, was upset about this, and she began collecting birthday gifts and birthday crowns and all sorts of things for these children. And then she began to contact organizations to see if they would be accepted. And finally, she hooked up with Kids TLC and learned they would be received there. So she drove out there and she gave all of her gifts, and she was so happy and so excited to be able to do this for these children that when she came home, she was almost crying. And he said, I'm lucky to have such a kind-hearted better half. And wasn't he kind to write about her efforts? So just how important is kindness? In a study of 37 cultures around the world, 16,000 subjects were asked about their most desired traits in a mate. For both sexes, the first choice was kindness. Acclaimed psychologists John and Julie Gottman gathered data on successful marriages for decades and found that kindness was essential to a lasting union. To enhance that possibility of a kind and successful union and avoid problems, Linda Yellen wrote an article with 6 subtle signs that say this is not a very nice person. 1, anyone who's rude to cab drivers, bus drivers, doormen, salespeople, parking lot attendants, or restaurant servers. 2, me, 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 me. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Self-involved souls want an audience, not a friend. And then I did this, and then I did that, and next I went here, and afterward there, and you spend the entire time nodding, oh my, how interesting, until they finally ask, so how are you? And as soon as you start to answer, they check their watch and say, oh, where did the time go? I think we've all known people like that, I'm sure. 3 is Debbie Downers, with all due respect to any upbeat women named Debbie. If you want to be a pessimist, there's enough going on in the world to knock yourself out. But if you want to try another route, say toward happiness, steer clear of anyone who spoils good news. And 4 is misery lovers, your misery. Cousins of the Debbie Downers, these folks can't wait to hear your latest troubles. And 5, sneaky critics, so-called friends who will listen to you share something you don't like about yourself and then later use it against you. They may often start with, I'm just being honest, but, and then the zinger comes like, that dress makes you look fat. That's not honest, that's just rude. And number 6, anyone who's mean to members of the animal kingdom. Let me say that again. Anyone who's mean to members of the animal kingdom. So avoiding not so nice people can lead to greater kindness and greater happiness in life. Kindness begins with caring, being tender-hearted, and compassionate. The Greek word for kindness is Christos, meaning useful. This means kindness involves action. Truly kind people will actively look for opportunities to show kindness, whether it's paying for someone's coffee at the drive-thru behind them or writing a note of encouragement to a friend. Kindness requires action. And of course, action can also include words of encouragement, of comfort, courtesy, and compliments can be heartwarming acts of kindness. Jennifer Garcia Esquivel from San Benito, Texas, wrote, I was 4 months pregnant when my baby's heart suddenly stopped. I was completely and utterly devastated. And after many days went by, I began to get nervous about returning to work. I'm a middle school teacher, she said, and I didn't know if I could face the kids. But last May, after 4 months of recovery, I walked into an empty classroom and turned on the light. And there on the wall, glued to the wall, were 100 colored paper butterflies, each with its own individual message from current and former students. And each one was encouraging, like, keep going forward. Don't give up. Know that we love you. She said it was exactly what I needed. Kindness enhances the release of oxytocin in interactions where 2 or more people are engaged in kindness behavior. In turn, bonds between those who are kind to one another are strengthened. The Dalai Lama said, be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. Media Stokesbury from Powell, Tennessee wrote, she said, a woman at our yard sale wore a perfume that was heavenly and also somewhat familiar. So I asked her, what is that scent you're wearing? And she responded, white shoulders. And suddenly I was completely bowled over with memories just flooding through me, because white shoulders was the one gift I could always count on every Christmas from my late mother. And so I told her this, and we chatted a bit, and she bought some things, and then she left. And 2 hours later, she was back with a new bottle of white shoulders. She said, I didn't know who began crying first. Such sweet kindness. And be kind to yourself. I wonder, when I asked even in meditation to focus on your kind acts this week, probably few of us thought of ourselves. It's not just how we treat other people, it's how we extend those same behaviors and intentions to ourselves as well. I believe we can be kinder in our own self-talk and practice gratitude. People are good at verbally beating themselves up, and rarely does that work as a pep talk. Rather, negativity often causes us to unravel and may even create a vicious cycle of regularly getting down on ourselves. We would not talk to our neighbor sometimes the way we talk to ourselves. So try the good neighbor policy. If you would not say it to your good neighbor, do not say it about yourself. How might our lives and communities be transformed if we intentionally turn toward ourselves with kindness each day in an attempt to relieve our own suffering, choosing to rest rather than push through, offering ourselves forgiveness for a mistake made, or responding with a gentleness to the heaviness, fear, anxiety, or sadness that we might feel. So we can practice conscious kindness, looking for opportunities to be kind and count our acts of kindness. You know, one act of small kindness can release an enormous chain of positive events. Here are a couple of examples of men who stayed awake to the opportunities for kindness. Miranda McLean of Michigan relates, my neighbor Jim was having a hard time deciding whether he should retire from the construction field until he ran into a young man he had worked with previously. That man had a wife and 3 children and was struggling very hard to make ends meet because he hadn't worked for some time. The next day, Jim went in, turned in his retirement papers, and noted his replacement as this young man. And 6 years later, that young man with his wife and 3 children is still working at that same place and has been ever since. So, a wonderful gesture of kindness. Another man in Spokane, Washington saw an opportunity. Marilyn Atterbury tells the story. Driving home in a blizzard, I noticed a vehicle trailing close behind me, and suddenly my tire blew. But somehow I managed to pull off the side of the road, as did the vehicle behind me. A man leaped out, came over, and changed my tire without hesitation. And then he said, I was going to get off 2 miles back, but I noticed your tire. So he stayed and followed, just in case he could be needed. A great example of staying awake to the possibility of kindness. Kindness is the first of the 3 great treasures advocated by Lao Tzu. The Buddha taught that generosity is a primary quality of an awakened mind, and Muhammad regarded kindness as an essential sign of faith. Jewish and Christian ethics are built upon deeds of kindness, as are the daily interactions of people of primal traditions. You know, the spiritual practice of kindness encompasses a range of small acts and habits we know as old-fashioned good manners, saying please and thank you, waiting your turn, lending a helping hand, of cheering someone with a smile. It applies not to just our relationships. It applies not to just your relationships with other people. Etiquette in the spiritual life extends to things, animals, plants, and the earth. So this practice also means being generous with our presence of time, with our presence, with our time, with our money. So just do it. Kindness is not a quid pro quo endeavor. And here's a perfect example of that. Clarence Stevens from Kentucky writes, leaving a store, I realized that I had locked my keys and my cell phone in the car. And this teenage boy came by on his bike just as I was kicking the back tire and uttering some choice words. And he said, what's the matter? So he said, I told him of my plight, and I explained to him that even if I had my cell phone to call my wife at home, she couldn't help me because we only had one car. And so the young man handed me his cell phone and said, call your wife, tell her I'm coming to get the key. And he said, well, that's a 7-mile round trip on your bike. And the young man said, don't worry about it, and he was gone. An hour later, he showed up with the key, and I offered to pay him money, but he refused. He said, call it my need for more exercise. And he said, then like a character in a movie, he drove off into the sunset. Simply asking, how am I going to practice kindness today can be helpful. This positive focus is like planting positive seeds in your mind garden. Where focus goes, energy flows. A therapist said she'd been talking about kindness to a young client who asked if she wanted him to get on the ark. She asked what that meant, and the client said, ARK, acts of random kindness. And that was a great response from a young person. How about you? Are you willing to get on the ark and practice those random acts of kindness more consciously? You know, the Buddhist loving kindness meditation is a powerful practice of compassion, naming our intention for the well-being of all creation. It begins first with extending loving kindness to ourselves, then it's repeated for those close to us, and then those outside of our circle, and finally for all of creation. Begin by bringing your awareness inside, and then just follow your breath in and out a few times. And now I invite you to just speak each line after me. First, this is for ourselves. May I be filled with loving kindness. Together. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I be well in body, mind, and spirit. May I be well in body, mind, and spirit. May I be at ease and happy. May I be at ease and happy. Now, normally it would be done 3 more times for those close to us and those outside of our immediate circle, and then for all of creation. But let's do it 1 more time, saying you instead of I, and think of it as for all living beings and all of creation. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in body, mind, and spirit. May you be well in body, mind, and spirit. May you be at ease and happy. May you be at ease and happy. I love the beauty and simplicity of that. You know, too, when we go overboard with kindness or do it out of our own neediness, then it can become codependency. There's a story of a couple like that, both caregivers, and their happily married life almost went on the rocks because of the presence in the household of old Aunt Emma. For 7 long years, she lived with them, and she was constantly crotchety and demanding and complaining. And finally, the old girl died. And on their way back from the cemetery, the man said to his wife, "Honey, if I didn't love you so much, I would never have allowed the presence of Aunt Emma in our house. Your Aunt Emma in our house." And she looked aghast at him and said, "My Aunt Emma? I thought she was your Aunt Emma." Well, Mother Teresa said, "Spread love everywhere you go, first of all in your own house. Give love to your children, to your wife or a husband, to a next-door neighbor. Let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier. Be the living expression of God's kindness. Kindness in your face, kindness in your eyes, kindness in your smile, kindness in your warm greeting. Love is a fruit in season at all times and within reach of every hand." So through our acts of kindness, we shine greater divine light and love in the world. God bless you. Thank you.
I have a song from the Staples Singers, one of my absolute favorite vocal groups of all time. I think Mavis Staples is still singing these days. The title's quite similar to the last song I did, but the song is not that similar. It's called Touch a Hand, Make a Friend. And I'll sing a chorus at the beginning. You might have heard this before. I'll sing a chorus and then ask you to sing it back to me and keep singing it every time it comes around, if you will, please. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. And you can feel, if you feel like it, you can reach out and touch a hand if you have a nearby willing person that would like to do the same. Try it with me. Here we go. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Yeah. Again. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Can't you feel it in your bones now? New things taking shape. From every walk of life, people seeing the light. And can't you feel it in your hearts now? A change is coming on. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Sing if you want. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Hey, what about you, my friend? Think it's time you come on in to live the united way. We can do it today. It's been reflected in the attitude of lots of others just like you. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Here we go. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Every day folks go waking up, running into one another. We're on our way, making the world a better place. And can't you feel it in your hearts now? A new thing is taking shape. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Last time. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Oh, one more time. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend, yes you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend, yes you can. Thank you. Thanks for singing.
Thank you, Bruce. We're going to reach out and give you another hand. So, I couldn't resist. I tried. Next, we have our community news. So, did I do that wrong? Yes, it is. All right. I'm sorry. All right. This is the time in our service when we bless our offerings. Since we aren't collecting them live, we do invite you to go to our website. You can see on the screen that donation button. It's also on the home page, and you can give your offering there. For those of you in the building, we do have a basket in the back where you can leave your offering, and that's on the door as you exit the sanctuary. If you prefer to mail a check, you can send it to our address, also on the website. Let us speak our offering blessing. So will you join me? Flowing through me, now blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Thank you so very much. Bruce has a blessing song for us.
Grateful to be giving from Tom Haddocks. Thank you, Tom. Here we go. I am grateful to be giving from within. There's abundance in my life now. Now my blessing has been sent. One more time. I am grateful to be giving from within. There's abundance in my life now. Now my blessing has been sent.
Thank you, Bruce. And now for our community news. All right. The men's group, we have some info here. We're still waiting to hear if anyone will have an interest in leading the group in the fall, starting this fall. If you do, please contact Reverend Kathy. The Monday night chat, that's going to be tomorrow night. It'll be at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and I'm filling in for Gina. The link is on our website, and for those of you that are ones that go there, I will mail you tonight what our little topic will be. I've been inspired by you. So, let's see here. The last one is the family table drive-through. It'll be not this Thursday, but the following Thursday. August 25th at 5 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And to help pack and serve the meals, please contact Kathleen Bailey at Outreach at Unity North. And her phone number is also listed there. We have a good time packing everything up and getting it ready and then serving it to those that come. It's just a wonderful way to be kind. Okay, plug in where I can. And prayer chaplain today, as we said earlier, is Nancy Helvig, and her number is there. You can see it, 612-382-7219. She's available for prayers right after service. Thank you very much. And now there's one more announcement, and Reverend Kathy will be doing that.
Thank you, Wendy. All right, I just want to mention our upcoming event on Saturday, September 10th, called All You Need Is Love. It's a fantastic flyer on the website. You can go to the main rotor picture on our website of it, and then click on it, and it will bring you to a page that looks like this. You can click again and create your own flyer if you like. Spread the word. It's a flash flea market. There'll be food and Beatles songs concert with Amy and Adams. And there's sort of 3 parts to it. The first part is from 2:30 to 4:30, and that's the flash flea market. And you can decide whether to be a contributor and or participant. If you want to be a contributor, there will be a form online. Is that this week, Chris? It's coming up this week. You'll be able to find it online. Give us a few days.
It's already there.
Oh, it's already there. Okay, so you're going to go online and find the form and fill out whether you want to be a contributor. That means you'll be bringing things from home for the flea market, and you can drive your car into a designated place in the lot. You can back it in and either use the back of your van or your trunk, or you can pull out a card table or up to a 6-foot table to display your wares. And we suggest each person prices their own, because there'll be one place where you purchase all the things. And so, and then you can be a shopper too, or take turns, or be a shopper instead, where you just go through and see what you like, go to the different cars and check it out, and then bring it for purchase. All funds will go to Unity North, so it's part of our fundraiser, FUND raiser, FUN and FUND. So, and the second part, during that time, there'll also be a hot dog stand. Lunch will be served for $5, which includes hot dog, regular turkey or plant-based, chips, cookies, water, and then there'll be water available through the day too. And also there'll be a 50-50 raffle. That's where we buy a raffle ticket, put it in the money goes in a pot, and just before the concert at 5:15, we'll do the drawing, and half of the pot goes to the winner, and the other half goes to Unity North. So, and then the final piece is at 5:15, and that's the, we call it Come Together, a Beatles songs concert with Amy and Adams. So it should be a great day, a lot of fun. Kids are welcome, of course. There'll be stuff we can do with the kids, or for the kids. So let us know if you'll be bringing them too. And hope to see you there. And with that, why don't we now do our prayer for protection. Let me first say, though, thank you. Thank you to Chris, thank you to Wendy, and thank you to Bruce. Give them a hand. And together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now let's join in our peace song.
on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Now we have a few minutes of social time with our virtual people. If they want to say something first, can we see them on the screen? There we go. Anybody have anything to share? Any acts of kindness? All right, well, good to see you all. Hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful week filled with compassion and kindness,
Thank you.
love and blessings. I have an act of kindness. Okay. Noel has his microphone, or you need a mic?
Should I step on that one?
Chris has.
Chris has one. Oh, there.
Oh, yeah.
I was coming back from a long day at work. I'd put on a golf tournament.
Come into the aisle, yeah.
And I was exhausted, and I was just about 2 blocks from home, and one of my tires blew out of my car. And I wasn't feeling really strong. And I'm getting out of the car, and this other guy pulls in behind me. It was a young man, and he changed the tire for me. I was so amazed. It was just a wonderful act of kindness.
That's great.
Anybody else? I'm sure we've all had stuff happen to us.
So this is sort of an act of kind thinking. My neighbor boy was 3 years old, and he really liked cars, so he knew my car. And I was on vacation for a week, and he didn't see that car. So when I got back, he had said to his grandma, "Is Sue okay?" And I just thought that was so cool for a 3-year-old to think like that. You know, really warmed my heart.
Age 3, that's awesome. Thank you.
Well, this is actually a story about Joseph and his brother. When they were quite young, an elderly neighbor came over to our house on a Saturday morning in tears because she had stepped out her front door to grab her newspaper, and the door had closed behind her and locked. And she was frantic. Well, Joseph and his brother took her back over to her house. Like I said, they were quite small. They both climbed in through her window and through her bathroom window and opened the door for her. And the look on her face was so priceless, and I was very proud of them.
Thank you.
That's a wonderful story. Wonderful story. There's got to be some other stories people want to share about kindness. You're a kind-looking group. Okay.
Some of you know, 4 years ago, I was in bed praying one night, and I thought, what the heck? I prayed for God to pick out a guy and send him to me for a boyfriend.
and I knew him from friends get-togethers. And a week or two after the prayer, he was just coming in the outdoor at Cub. I thought it good, he's a rebel like me. And we said, hi, how are you? He asked my phone number. And we've been going together ever since. And the other day he came over and he mowed my lawn. He mows my lawn regularly. And he shovels snow and moves furniture. Boy, I prayed right, didn't I?
Thank you. I have one. Oh, actually, Wanda has one. Go ahead, Wanda.
Hi. I've spent the last 4 days with my sisters. We have our annual get together where the four of us get together and cause trouble here in the Twin Cities. And my one sister is in a wheelchair. So I've been transporting her around. And at almost every time we came to a door, if there was a stranger close by, they went and grabbed and opened the door. And that is, if you've ever tried getting around with a wheelchair, you know how important that is. And so it just restored my faith in humanity here in the Twin Cities, that kindness is still there and that you will reach out and help a stranger. So that's great.
Thank you. I have one too. My grandson Dylan in Minot, North Dakota, was in an accident where he was in over there they call it a side-by-side or four-wheeler, whatever you want to call it. It's larger than a golf cart. And it had a low tire. His friend was driving and going too fast, took a quick right turn, and it tipped over. And Dylan broke 7 out of 8 bones in his wrist and hand. And the doctor, so immediately though, a man nearby went in the house and got him a blanket and wrapped him in a blanket before even the help came. So that was a wonderful act of kindness. And just as an aside, he's having surgery at the Mayo Clinic here tomorrow. So I'd appreciate prayers for his complete and rapid, full recovery. Thank you. Anyone else? Well, thank you for all your stories, and just go forth and have a wonderful week blessed with kindness. Thank you all.